About 83% of you guys are not subscribed. Subscribing, clicking that like button, and commenting all help me out a lot in doing what I really want to do. Thank you guys so much for all your support. What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing another Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. You all voted for it, and I am responding. Here is Evil Eye. I've been tinkering with this deck for a lot, both in paper and online. Look forward to a paper version of this deck coming up within the next month or so. But I think this deck is really interesting. It isn't oppressively strong, but it does have some interesting like little toys it can play around with, and I feel like it is somewhat competent and does have a game plan as well as a head on its shoulders. But that's going to be enough yapping out of me. Let us get to the profile. Starting off our list, we're on a triple tour guide from the Underworld. When it's normal, we can special summon a level 3 Fiend from our hand or deck, but negates effects and it can't be used as synchro material. Oh no, we can't synchro. Anyway, this card is really strong, and I found this is a pretty good starter extender in this deck. Comparative to Surzeal, where on normal summon we get to add an Evil Eye card from deck to hand, except for Surzeal. Just because we're only playing 3 Surzeal, so we can only normal summon so many cards, as well as we're also on 1 Medusa. Just go over our ratios real quick. So I did want to include just one additional card that we do want to normal summon, being Tour Guide from the Underworld, because it can grab from deck either our Basilisk, our Basiltris, or our Catoblipas. I guess that's how you pronounce that. It can grab any one of the 3 from deck, so it's whatever we need at any given moment. Special summons them to on field, so then we can immediately go into a link play into either our Gorgon or any one of our other link 2s that we are able to make. So I want to test out Tour Guide in this deck just to see what it can really do, I guess. But next we are on a triple Surzeal, Watcher of the Evil Eye, another one of our normal summons. When it's normal summon, we can add 1 Evil Eye card from our deck to our hand except for Surzeal. And if this card is equipped with an Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, we can target 1 special summon monster our opponent controls and destroy it. We can use this effect of Surzeal, Watcher of the Evil Eye once per turn, and once per turn in the next standby phase, after we activated the effect to pop a card, we have to destroy a card we control. Which is a little bit unfortunate that for such a mediocre effect, we get such a large downside having to pop one of our own cards. However, a lot of our cards do allow us to get advantage off of them leaving the field. Next, we're on 1 Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye. When it's a normal summon, we can target 1 Evil Eye card in our graveyard, except for Medusa, and add it to our hand. And if it's equipped with an Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, we can target 1 monster in our opponent's graveyard and then banish it. We can use each effect of Medusa once per turn. And then in the standby phase, after we activate the effect of to banish, we have to banish a card too, which is really unfortunate. Again, it's such a mediocre effect. It's a DD Crow, and now we have to DD Crow ourselves. I don't really understand the philosophy behind these effects of the Evil Eye. Like, the effects weren't so absurdly powerful that they were gonna do anything really meaningful without a downside, so it's just kind of unfortunate that they do have a downside printed on them anyway. But Medusa's pretty alright. We can search it throughout the course of the game and then normal summon it to then get that banishing effect online. However, the fact that we do have to normal summon it to get that add back from a graveyard effect is really quite strange. Especially given the archetype literally has a card that special summons cards from your hand, deck, or graveyard, so doesn't really make too much sense to me why those cards are only on normal summon. But next, we are on a triple Basilisk, Familiar of the Evil Eye. If you control an Evil Eye monster, we can special summon this card from our hand. We can only special summon it once per turn that way. Once per turn during our main phase, we can send 1 Evil Eye spell trap from our deck to the graveyard. Really good effect. Our Evil Eye spell traps love to be in the graveyard, especially our Evil Eye equips. So this is just basically a way to get those into rotation and allow us to access them a lot easier, especially if we don't have the ability to search cards. For example, if we normal summoned Tour Guide instead of Surzeal. We are on a double Basiltris, Familiar of the Evil Eye. This is a new support card. I say new, but it's like not new anymore. It's like over a year old, I think. If you control an Evil Eye monster and this card's in your hand or graveyard, quick effect, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, so a really great extender. During our opponent's turn, we can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, link summon one Evil Eye Link monster using monsters we control as material, and when we do, we can also use Evil Eye equip spells as Evil Eye monsters, like for the requirements. Which is interesting, but if we're going to be linking off on our opponent's turn, we want to make sure we have the equip spells on the monsters already. But that is quite interesting for the aspect of being able to tag monsters out. And the fact that both of its effects are quick effects means as long as you have one in graveyard, it's always live to basically shotgun as long as you have an Evil Eye on field. And then our last Evil Eye monster, and our last, real main deck monster is one Cattlebulpas, Familiar of the Evil Eye. You can target one Evil Eye spell trap you control until the end of the next turn. It can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If you control an Evil Eye monster other than this card, while this card's in your graveyard, you can special up, but banish and leaves the field. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this in graveyard, bring it back, target a Selene, and it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects until the end of their turn. And then we can link this off into something else. So it's just a card that we want to use its one and done effect to protect something, and it can just be an extender if we have an Evil Eye. But that's it for our monsters. Next, we're on a triple Evil Eye Unleashed. This also came out in the same support wave as Basilisk. It reads, send one Evil Eye monster and one Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. That's cost. Add one Evil Eye equip spell from your deck to your hand, but for the rest of this turn, each time you activate a non-Evil Eye card or effect, you lose 500 life points. If you link summon an Evil Eye Link monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard to equip one Evil Eye equip spell from your graveyard to one Evil Eye Link monster you control. And since that is a trigger effect, that will work if we do use the Basilisk, which is like the main combo this is trying to go for. Because you go Evil Eye Unleashed, you send the Basilisk, you send the whatever, like one of the Evil Eye equips, and when you link summon using the said Basilisk, then you can equip it straight from graveyard to the Link monster, giving you interaction, therefore. But this card is incredible. This card is super busted, and it's like the best card the archetype has access to, bar none. So we gotta max out on it. We are on triple Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. When this card's activated, we can add one Evil Eye monster from our deck to our hand. Once per turn during damage calc of our Evil Eye is attacked, while Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell trap zone, you can make the battle damage you take from the battle also inflicted to your opponent, which can cause a draw. So there's something fun you can try to do with that. If this card in the field zone is destroyed by card effect, you can target one Evil Eye monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So this is the main card you really want to be popping with the Surzeal, basically like effect. Like that you have to activate on your own stuff, where you have to pop one of the cards you control if you pop the card an opponent controls. So we can pop our Pareidolia and it'll float into something like a Basilisk from our graveyard. We're on triple Evil Eye of Gorgonio. We really want to get this card in graveyard, and I like finding 2 or 3, I think is probably like good ratios for it. Equip only to an Evil Eye monster. You can only activate 1 Gorgonio per turn. This card's name becomes Evil Eye of Selene on the spell and trap zone, so there's that. While your life points are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster gains attack equal to the difference, so it's like a pep on a spell, I guess. Except it's not the difference, it's if yours is lower, then you gain equal to the difference, so it's a little bit more restrictive in that aspect. But here's the main reason we are playing it. You can banish this card from your graveyard, discard 1 Evil Eye card, add 1 Evil Eye spell trap from your deck to your hand, except for Gorgonio, and that is a hard once per turn. But our ability to get Evil Eye spell traps in the graveyard with something like Evil Eye Unleashed, or even like discarding them off of a Gorgonio, because it doesn't say we can't discard the Gorgonio, so if we open like a Gorgonio, we can go Gorgonio, pitch Gorgonio to add something else, then have the Gorgonio up for next turn. But I really like this card, and I personally like playing 3, but however, I'd recommend playing at least 2 in your builds. Next, we're on the main stake of the deck, double Evil Eye of Selene. Equip only to an Evil Eye monster, can't be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects, and also your opponent can't target with card effects. Basically, kind of making it a towers, although it's not really a towers, because you can still get like dinkier suit and stuff. Let's go Dingirsu, rah! No, but each time you activate the equipped monster's effect or you activate another Evil Eye spell trap card, the equipped monster gains 500 attack, and if it does, you lose 500 life points. This attack gain remains even if this card leaves the field. If this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points, banish one Evil Eye spell trap from your graveyard, and then you get to set this card, and you can use this effective Evil Eye of Selene once per turn. Which is strong because we can activate as many Selene as we would like per turn. Like activating it and then equipping it onto something, and the fact that the attack gain is permanent is really strong, and it also fuels the Gorgonio attack gain by making you lose life points. Same with the Unleashed, because losing life points in this deck isn't necessarily a detriment. It is more of a means to an end, meaning making your opponent's life points 0. You want to lose life points to accomplish that. But rounding out our Evil Eye cards, we're on 2 more cards. They're one-ofs because this deck is very searchable now with both Evil Eye Unleashed, and we're on so many copies of Gorgonio and Surseal and Pareidolia. We have very many ways to search our deck for our Evil Eye spells and traps. Even though Pareidolia only searches for monsters, Surseal searches for spells and traps. We are on 1 Evil Eye Awakening, special summon 1 Evil Eye monster from our hand or graveyard, or if we control an Evil Eye of Selene in our spell trap zone, we get to special an Evil Eye from our deck instead. Really strong card. What's a once per turn on that, but just being able to special summon an Evil Eye from deck, real strong stuff. Even grabbing stuff from graveyard and hand isn't bad either. We're on 1 Evil Eye Reemergence, special summon 1 familiar familiar of the Evil Eye token. God damn, I'm stumbling on my words today. Or if an Evil Eye of Selene's near spell trap zone, you can special summon 2 of the tokens. Really strong card. Gives us a free Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye if we control Selene, where we can use both tokens to make a Gorgon. However, this is also just a way to get an Evil Eye monster on the field without using our normal summon, to summon something like Basilisk, something like Basiltris, or even something like Bilpas. So it's just a way to get an Evil Eye on board without relying on our normal summon. Like, I don't know, let's say, for example, our tour guide from the Underworld gets the Cypher Gear Gamut. We have no monsters on field. Then this would come in handy. It also has a graveyard effect, where we can banish this card from our graveyard, and your opponents can't target Evil Eye spell traps we control with card effects this turn. It's good for insulating our turn that we plan on killing our opponent. However, since it is a spell effect to do that, so we can only do it in our turn, it's not as great as we would like it to be. It'd be a lot better if it was a quick play spell. But that's it for our main deck Evil Eyes. We are also on a small Unchained engine just because Yama is very generic. So we're playing 1 Unchained Soul of Sharvara and 1 Escape of the Unchained in order to get just a couple more pieces of interaction for our opponent's turn, because the Evil Eye stuff isn't necessarily the greatest at providing interaction. Because so far what we've managed to find interaction-wise is a Monster Pop and Banish, and since we aren't playing the Evil Eye traps, we're not going to get access to those. But I feel like Escape of the Unchained and Icarus Attack is strong enough. We are on triple Pot of Prosperity. Our extra deck is very flexible. There's a lot of random cards in there, to be completely honest. But all of them are we can make, and all of them do have some sort of theoretical purpose in the deck. So Pot of Prosp can find whichever card we really need. Can find specifically Evil Eye Unleashed is the main card that I'm attempting to find. However, can find whatever we need in any given situation. For hand trap prevention, we're on 1 Call by the Grave, Terraforming to search our field spell to then search our Surseal, double Ash Blossom, double Ghost Ogre, and triple Infinite Impermanence. I mean, you kind of breeze over the extra deck real quick, unless we're talking about the Evil Eye stuff. We're on 1 Cherubini Evon Angel of the Burning Abyss to protect the stuff it points to, and it can send stuff like Catapultlas to the graveyard, real strong. Yama lets us add an Unchained monster, and when it's destroyed by battle or card effect, we can banish it to special summon any Fiend from our hand or graveyard and pop a card we control. Strong stuff. We're on 1 Muckracker from the Underworld in order to bring Fiends back from our graveyard. 1 Soul of Rage to get Yama to go into. 1 Unchained Soul of Anguish that we could potentially use Rage to go into. 1 IP Masquerade to link off on our opponent's turn, 1 Dark to Dark Charmer Gloomy, because we have a lot of darks in our deck and we don't necessarily Fiend Lock ourselves. Double Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye. Here's an actual Evil Eye card. It needs 2 monsters, including an Evil Eye. It gains 100 attack for each Evil Eye card with different names in our graveyard. If this card is equipped with an Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, we can target 1 effect monster our opponent controls and negate its effects at the end of the turn. And then we can only use that effective Gorgon, and then once per turn during the next standby phase, after this card is activated, destroy 1 monster this card points to. So, unlike the main deck monsters, the Link monsters' downsides can actually be an upside if we have it pointing to something kind of like a Relinquished Anima does. So Gorgon is actually a really, really strong piece of interaction, being an effect monster negate, and then being a pop if we can keep it around. And then lastly, for the Evil Eye cards, we're on to Yugioh, Ruler of the Evil Eye. It needs 2+ Evil Eye monsters. If it was link summon using a monster with 2600 or higher attack as material, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. Not especially the most relevant. If it's equipped with an Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, we can target 1 card our opponent controls and destroy it. We can use that effect of Yugioh once per turn. And once per turn in the next standby phase, after that effect was activated, negate the effects of 1 effect monster this card currently points to. So this is like a combination of Gorgon and Yugioh. And I believe it's probably meant to be made with a combination of Gorgon and Yugioh, with probably Yugioh being the 2500 or more attack monster. But it isn't actually as good as Gorgon, because having a quick effect negate is a lot better than having a quick effect pop in this format specifically, because everything kind of floats. But also, Yugioh needs 3 materials, and it doesn't really do too much else after. And being able to pop something points to on your turn is a lot better than being able to negate something that points to, because you're always getting rid of a card if you can pop something, but negation kind of depends on what it's actually pointing to. But lastly, in our extra, we're on 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Access the Code Talker, 1 Unchained Abomination, and 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. That rounds out the list. The deck is fairly cheap. It's not especially expensive, coming up to around $100, even though we have cards in here like Unchained Soul of Yama. We have cards like, Unchained Soul of Yama. I think it's probably the most expensive card on the list. Extrave ain't the cheapest, but yeah. I think this deck is pretty damn cool. I don't think it's necessarily the strongest deck there ever existed. I don't even think it's necessarily like tier 2. But I think it is a lot of fun and definitely can sneak wins if your opponent doesn't necessarily know what your game plan is, or you just kind of open nuts. But that's going to be about it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you all later. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description, as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh and the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. As well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga Supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or 2 before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye-bye.